Okay, doke. So my name is Mark Bannon. I'm the founder of VT Networks, and we're the Sig Fox network operator in Ireland. And it's pretty crazy. This whole event was just a conversation with New Frontiers last December, and here we are with everyone from university lecturers to utility companies to mobile operators and startups. And that's really reflective of IoT as a whole, because it touches every sector, every business, and everybody's lives. We're going to be outsourcing our lives and our business to IoT in the future. If you just allow me to give a quick example of the 5 minutes it took to get into this building. Most of us would have parked down in Galwegian's pitch. So the Sig Fox network, in the future, there'll be parking sensors in every space that will immediately recognize your car, that you parked in that space, and it will bill you for the exact time that you were there. Similarly, you can log on to the app, see where there is a free space. You don't have to be driving around looking for spaces. You would have walked out the gate and there's street lights along the street. Sig Fox network allows it and makes it feasible for those street lights to be connected individually. You can monitor their energy consumption, monitor faults, remotely turn them on and off. And then we walked into the building, and there's huge applications that IoT allows in the building. Something as simple as a device in the toilets where the cleaner has to scan their card to physically record, not just on a pen and a piece of paper, physically record the time and place that they were there, so the building knows they're getting the services they pay for. Beneath the building, it's a whole range of energy meters monitoring electricity, water consumption, leak detection, also heating, ventilation, air conditioning monitors, and that allows the building to learn about their energy consumption and change it over time and save costs. So why we're all here today is a huge opportunity. So it's a $19 trillion market, every single industry. I myself, 2 years ago, I was an accountant up in Dublin, pretty disillusioned with the industry, and I started to hear about IoT. And I started to hear about smart fridges, and I was like, oh, okay, who needs a connected fridge? I didn't get the business model. But it started to grow legs more and more, and wearables were starting to come on stream, stuff like Fitbit. And I thought, right, there's something that maybe I could apply to a different industry. My granddad had Alzheimer's, like a lot of people these days, and people with Alzheimer's and dementia tend to wander off and get lost. So I knew there was trackers that were based on mobile networks and cellular, and I started to see, could I apply Internet of Things technology, specifically Sig Fox, to this market. The first major problem with traditional GPS trackers is battery life, and I want everyone to think about these problems for their particular industry, because they're the same problems in each industry. I'm using my granddad's tracker as an example. So battery life is the first issue. Most of these trackers last for 24 hours. So if you're a family or care provider, you'd have to take off that GPS watch, charge it every day. It becomes unfeasible and people get tired wearing them, and you aggravate the patient. Sig Fox works differently. Because GSM and mobile networks are always on, they always need to be connected and talking to the network. They drain huge amounts of power. Sig Fox only talks and is only connected when it needs to send data. It goes to sleep for the rest of the time. So it's 300 times more energy efficient than GSM or cellular or Wi-Fi networks. And that's why you have devices that last months and years versus your 24-hour for the GPS tracker. One example is a sensor in a bin. It's just a sensor monitoring the fill level. It will tell the waste management company when that bin needs to be emptied. This means they're not sending out trucks to empty, half-full bins. A company in Amsterdam implemented this strategy and reduced their trucks from 20 down to 5 within a year. If you think about this technology and how it can be applied, you take your oil tank at home. We've all run out of oil. When you do, you have to ring the oil company. A sensor like that deployed in the oil tank will last for 10 years, will alert you when you're close to running out of oil. More importantly, it will alert your oil company. So you don't even have to contact them anymore. They just come, refill the oil. More importantly, it allows them to plan their route and optimize their route because they know certain customers in this area need a refill. So they're not sending out trucks based on you ringing them up and wasting resources. Reduce costs for everyone across the board, and oil then just becomes another utility you don't have to worry about. Another example, this is a tracking device, Sig Fox ready and certified tracking device from a company called Stick and Track. It lasts 7 to 9 years. Again, a cellular tracker, you're talking a couple of days to a couple of weeks maximum. This can be deployed in the glove box of your car, plant, machinery, anything you want, high value assets. It's really, Sig Fox is really going to take over the tracking industry because it's now feasible and cost effective to deploy trackers on anything you want. You don't have to worry about them for years. This is important for the leasing industry as well. So you attach this tracker to your bit of machinery. You know exactly when it was delivered to customer site, exactly when it was returned. No more arguments over leasing. So Sig Fox solved the battery life issue for my granddad's tracker. The next was the cost and size. So trackers that were on the market started off with about €300 and went up from there. It's a big decision for a family. Also the size of the device, they were huge, bulky devices. They aggravate the patients and they're heavy to wear. Sig Fox is different. The only thing that's involved in the Sig Fox product is the Sig Fox radio module, a battery, and an antenna. That's all you need. It's also about at least half the cost of cellular modules and product development. So you immediately split your cost base of developing a product in half. So it's very simple to make any type of product connected to a sensor and get that data back. Also, Sig Fox is lowest cost in terms of subscriptions. Subscriptions range from 50 cents a year up to €15 a year, dependent on volume. Can you imagine millions of sensors deployed for 50 cents a year? It makes the business case stack up in terms of the data you're required to get back. That's a simple temperature monitor device for less than €100. Temperature monitors for retail, cold storage and supply chain are a multiple of that cost at the minute. As another industry Sig Fox is going to take over is security. So right now it's possible for you to buy a full security system in a box. It's battery powered, uses Sig Fox. It has a movement sensor, your control panel, door sensor, smoke alarm, window sensor. It costs less than €100. And if you compare that to anything that's on the market, it's hugely disruptive. And you don't need to connect it to your Wi-Fi or hardwire it in. It's battery powered, so it's a simple device. Sig Fox is robust. It can't be jammed, or at least it's next to impossible to jam it. And Securitas Direct rolled out 2.5 million Sig Fox security jamming devices, anti-jamming devices in Spain for this reason. So Sig Fox solved the cost and size of my granddad's product at the time. The next was global access. So the tracker watches back in those days, you'd have to buy a SIM card. Now that SIM card mightn't work in another country. If it did, you're going to have to pay roaming fees. Sig Fox is completely different, and this is the key thing to realize for anyone that wants to get into this industry. You make a Sig Fox device, it will work in any country there's Sig Fox connectivity. There's no roaming issues, or you don't have to change the protocol. It just works out of the box, you turn it on. We're the 14th country in the Sig Fox ecosystem. Our network is currently at 75% coverage. We've partnered with 2RN. They're a subsidiary of RTE. They do all the radio and TV broadcasts across the country. They've been doing networks since the 1930s, so they're a perfect partner for us. Over the next few months, we'll be rolling out our network of base stations. That's a base station over there. So we're deploying them on hundreds of 2RN sites across the country. So we'll have 97% coverage. VT Networks itself, 8 months ago I was in the New Frontiers course here trying to develop an IoT product. And I realized the bigger opportunity is the network. And we've, a short time ago, we closed our funding round of 1.2 million, and we're backed by Colm Line, founder of Relax, Patrick Joy of SureTank, and Darragh O'Mahony of Dome Telecom. We also have a key partnership with 2RN for our network. The Sig Fox ecosystem, in terms of global partners, it's very easy for anyone to get involved. I was an accountant 2 years ago, when you think about it. So the devices are so easy. This isn't some far-off technology in Silicon Valley that we can't touch. Everyone in this room can get involved in this industry right now. And the Sig Fox have a range of supports along with ourselves to help companies develop products, everything you need from chip design to prototyping. We also help you access the Sig Fox markets. Because it's a global market, we know the operators in France and the distribution channels for whatever product and whatever industry you need. So Sig Fox solved the global access problem. The next problem was ease of use. So back then, it's a cellular GPS tracker. You'd have to buy the device, which was costly, only lasted 24 hours, and you could only use in Ireland. Next, you'd have to buy a SIM card with that, and you lose a lot of people at that point because you have to buy a device, and then they have to buy a SIM card with a subscription. Then when you do buy the SIM card, you have to set it up, send it a text message, find the network, all that kind of thing. Sig Fox is different. The devices come out of the box ready to go. There's no formatting, you don't have to find a network. You literally put in the batteries and turn them on. Data comes from the devices to our base stations to the Sig Fox cloud. And from the cloud, it's pushed to your server or your platform or your app. It couldn't be easier. There's no other party in the chain. It's device to your backend. This is a great example of a simple device. It's called a Lightbox. 10,000 of them were deployed in France, and it's for the health service in France for patients that were receiving care in their home. So they're receiving services in their home. The health service sent this pack out to the person's home. They didn't have to do anything after that. They just take it out of the box. The care provider, the nurse or the physio, scans their card when they arrive at the house, scan it when they leave. So the health service can track the services and the times. Interestingly, hours worked were reduced by 40%, and they saved 1.5 million in 6 months, all because of a simple device. And that wasn't possible before, because you'd be dependent on the person having Wi-Fi, or setting up the SIM card, or changing the batteries. With Sig Fox, all that is taken out. So Sig Fox solved the ease of use problem. All those benefits combined in different ways. One of them could be completely disruptive to a certain industry. All of them combined give rise to thousands of Sig Fox solutions. One of them there is a smart smoke alarm. Again, you just take it out of the box, attach it to your wall. It lasts 5 years. 30% of fire deaths are because of a faulty battery. With Sig Fox, you're never going to have a faulty smoke alarm again. Another product is a smart pallet with a Sig Fox GPS tracker attached. Very important for retail channels, keeping track and monitoring their supply chain and the temperature of the goods throughout the supply chain. So it's completely disruptive, but simple use cases. In terms of support to get involved, we will be rolling out the IOT Summit across the country over the next few years, the next few months in different geographic regions. There's also the Sig Fox Makers Tour, which is a hands-on technical workshop. The Sig Fox Marketplace is a resource where you can see products on the market if you'd like to integrate them into your business, but also if you want to become a distributor for products or make products and sell them online. It really is, they're making it very easy for the business model to work and get involved. Hardware support, the companies that are on the slide there are represented here today. If you're into product development, these guys all sell Sig Fox hardware, chips and modules. It's important to point out there's no royalty fees or licensing fees to pay with Sig Fox. You buy the chip, and you connect, you pay the cheap subscription every year, and that's it. So Sig Fox are really making it a reality, and it's a reality for everyone in the room here, and I really would like to echo what Ronan said earlier about there's no reason Ireland can't be at the top of IoT. It's a simple technology, it's just you're limited by your imagination. and anyone can get into it, and the supports are there to get into this industry. So to put you out of your misery, I didn't end up making my granddad's tracker, but a company in France did. It lasts for 2 years. It's low cost, lightweight, solved all the problems that were existing in the market. So that's my presentation. I'll be part of the panel discussion later if anyone has any questions. Thanks.